How you know, guys? Okay. Anybody know this stuff? They'll know it as the Sumerian kings list. Okay. Now, apparently, people haven't read enough information. Okay. How the kings list work? Okay. Alulim. Okay. After the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. Okay. If I butchered the words, I'm sorry. It's not my forte. Now, how this works is when Alulim took over, okay, by flooding the world, okay, which means he rang Mount Kailash. Okay, Mount Kailash then had all its snow removed, dropped down below when it melted in the spring, summer, whatever. Floods happened. Okay, nobody any the wiser. Flooded the world. Okay, so anywhere where there was a reservoir, he conned the kings into flooding out people. Okay, now Alulim took over. Everybody was happy. Okay, so in the world, at one point in time, Alulim was the chief god. He was the king of kings. He was the engineer, okay, who sorted out and learned and then flooded, took over control, and started the Sumerian kings list. Okay, so he heads off. Okay, now how it works is everybody, the mob essentially, is the people to appease. Okay, so Alulim brought civilization back under control after his flood. Everybody was happy. So Alulim, okay, as the God King, King of Kings, okay, lived and died a normal life. But here's where things take a bit of a twist. If you read um, everything closely, okay, they slowly explain that the masses decide when the gods need to be changed. So every king after Alulim, okay, I'm not sure of the naming process, but the chief god was Alulim for 28,800 years. Okay, after that, the chief god was his son Alganar. Algar. Algar. So the people chose him and stayed faithful to him for 10 stars, 36,000 years. Okay? These people weren't fickle, and these kings had to be very quick thinking to keep these gods in control, because these gods were the Stone Age gods who initially built and controlled the area. Okay? So somehow Alulim took control of Egypt as the first god. It seems that anybody who crept into Egypt with their clans, okay, automatically became king of kings. Everybody else would then become a sub king, okay, or depending on the spread of that person's religion, becomes one in the pantheon with Alulim and Alalngar. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the pantheons will change, and I'm sure it changed with each king that ruled. They would have a niche for him. Okay, so it's easier to follow the rule of these king of kings, okay, for the length of the rule. Okay, now it's very important because these areas provided water to the system. Okay, apparently it was a dam system at the headwaters of the Tigris and Euphrates, and then someplace wherever they kept taking the mantle of kingship. Now, the mantle of kingship, when it came down from heaven, it's essentially a process where the Tibetan people on the upper plateau by Mount Kailash, these people controlled and disseminated information, okay? Um, when they ran out of resources, somebody got the idea to spread their genetics with that seed of the places. Sorry, guys. Anyways, the King's List is a water management list, and it's also a list of time frames to empty reservoirs when they become full of silt. There's quite a few things that go in through these temples, these old temples, and they get squeezed out and passed on subterranean through the tail systems. So essentially, the King's List is not very complex and it's not very confusing. It just shows the reigns of these very special engineers and any changes like Marduk switching to nothing but a geared system. Okay, he advertises that all over his everything that I've seen that was related to Marduk. Now, also, these kingdoms also took forward a lot of the symbology that we're seeing at Göbekli Tepe. It does have bearings on the spread of the religion eastward, and as it rebounds back during good times, westward. So it's a slow process of back and forth between all these civilizations to come out on top. After Alulim, I thought for sure that the Achaemenid Persian Empire was going to be a long-lasting setup, but Alexander the Great had other plans. So the King's List, again, is for where these places are, these sacred sites are, what their original names are, okay, and then what they evolved into. So a temple site starting off at, let's say, Göbekli Tepe. The site was already established. That's already clear when the Sumerians took over. Sumerians also were builders using clay, okay? Technology spread good, but it's only a temporary and a sacrificial thing for these places. Okay, so these people were only meant to be there for a certain period of time. Once their job was over, move on to the next place and continue resurrecting these sites. Some of these kings, they resurrected quite a few temples and elevated Ishtar, okay, to from Lilith 1, 2, and 3, and maybe more. The theft of the temples wasn't actually a theft of the temples. It was the people taking the temples with them because that god fell out of favor in that area and the others wanted to keep the temple going. So they moved on with it, with portions of it. We've seen this happen with Adam and Lilith and Adam and Eve. But Lilith is one that needs to be focused on because Lilith became Ishtar through several elevations as the Sumerian texts